What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Does Tom Brady, aka the GOAT, wear a hair system? Well, that's what we're going to find out here today. Before we dive into that, this is a LaVivid hair system I'm rocking right now. Use promo code CHRIS15 at checkout. I'll leave that along with the link and the promo code in the comments and description below. That promo code CHRIS15 will get you 15% off any hair system you buy from LaVivid Hair, be it stock hair systems, custom hair systems, all kind of hair system models. This particular one, in case you're wondering, is an Eros model. It is a lighter density unit, and it's number 4 medium brown hair color. And 15% off is pretty huge. That's going to save you at least minimum of about $45. Even if you go with their least expensive hair system, which costs about $289, that's going to save you about $45 off the top, if not more, depending on which hair system you go with. So again, promo code CHRIS15. I'll leave that and the link in the comments and description below. Go check them out if you feel inclined. Tom Brady has changed his hairstyle more than I have over the years, and for that saying a lot. Now, for those of you that are overseas and don't keep up with American football, in case you're wondering, I'm sure you know who he is anyway, but Tom Brady is pretty much, and I hate to say this, by the way, let me just kind of rant a little bit. I'm a huge Carolina Panthers fan. Why did Tom Brady have to come out of retirement? My God, you're 45, dude. Just retire. I was thinking we'd have an outside shot at the division this year, but Tampa Tom is coming back. Woohoo. So anyway, for those of you guys overseas that may not know who he is, I say this begrudgingly. He's the greatest NFL quarterback of all time, blah, blah, blah. He's pretty much our David Beckham. I mean, he's pretty much a David Beckham of NFLs, to kind of sum it up for you guys. So we're going to take a deep dive. So does Tom Brady wear a hair system? We're going to kind of look at some pictures that I found online. I'll let you guys kind of discuss in the comments below what you think, and we're going to see if he does. So let's dive right in and look at some pictures here. All right, guys, first what I'm going to do is go ahead and show you some pictures from several years ago. Now, these are pictures where he clearly is not wearing a hair system, just to kind of give you an idea where he was just several years ago over the year, as far as his precision, his hairline shape, his overall thinning, his density, his natural density of hair. So we'll go and start with this one. Again, these pictures I'm going to show, kind of rotate here, are going to show like his all, you can tell this is all natural hair. It's not a hair system, but as you can see, he has some pretty significant thinning, and these are taken, I don't know when, but he's been in the NFL for 20 plus years, seems like 100, in the NFL forever. So these are just kind of over the course of the last several years. As you can see, he's definitely getting that receding hairline as you age, what most men do get. His hair itself is thinning. He doesn't have that much density to begin with. Let's go and look at some kind of side-by-side pictures, and this is where things get very interesting. Let's look at this first one here. Clear difference here, guys. As you can see in the picture with his natural hair, he's receding, thinning quite a bit. He's kind of on this temple right in this area here. He really doesn't have any hair filling right there. Versus the other picture beside it, there's a clear difference. He has no hairline recession at all. He's dense all the way through from his hairline to the back. You can tell there's a huge difference here, and I don't know anyone on the planet who actually gets a more fuller and denser hairline as they age, but clearly something's going on here. He's definitely, I think, personally wearing a hair system here. Let's go ahead and take a look at some more pictures. These pictures are getting more intense and a little bit more obvious, but let's look at this one. This one is as clear as day. As you can see, his hair is really thinning quite significantly several years, probably 10 plus years back. Now look at the picture of him with a head full of hair. Guys, I'm going to have to say this right now, come out and say it. This shouldn't even be a spoiler. That is absolutely clearly a hair system. There's a lot of articles where people try to say that this was a hair transplant. No way. And also, if you want more proof or confirmation, look, here's another picture of him in a different setting. As you can tell, again, guys, there's just no way that he's not wearing a hair system here at this point. And even, I'll go so far as to say, I think this is a full cap hair system in these pictures. So I do think, I do think this is definitely hair system right here. And there was an article that tried to say that this was hair transplant, but there's no way that's a hair transplant. I'm going to tell you why for 2 reasons. This is going to be kind of nipping in the bud on why I don't think it's a hair transplant. One is you don't get that kind of nice luscious hair with a hair transplant. Hair transplant, I would say the celebrity that comes right off to mind that I think is more likely that it had a hair transplant is Matthew McConaughey, because his hair, he's definitely had thicker hair over the years, but it looks almost identical to his back and side and natural bio hair, where you can kind of tell it was more transplant versus a hair system. This looks just straight out almost like a wig that he put on his head, guys. I mean, it really is that obvious in these 2 pictures. It couldn't be more obvious. And reason number 2 is because Tom Brady's in the spotlight every single year. Every NFL season, he's doing press conferences. You see him on the sidelines with his helmet off. If he was going to be doing a hair transplant, you would be able to tell during every year, because it takes a long time for hair to grow the way you want it to grow and to fill in when you do a hair transplant. So the fact that we see Tom Brady, or I do, some people who watch the NFL or keep up with football and see Tom Brady in press conferences on ESPN giving interviews year in and year out, and his hair drastically changed in that short amount of time, you just don't get that drastic kind of a change in that short period of time with the hair transplant. So this is absolutely a hair system in my opinion, no doubt about it. Let's move on and look at some other pictures here. Now here's another picture I found. I don't know, I think this was 2016, 2017, so a few years ago. He would have been been 39 to 40 years old. This actually looks good. I'm going to still say this is still a hair system in this picture, but it definitely looks a hell of a lot better than the other ones we just saw. It almost seems like the other pictures with the Shaggy Doo, Scooby Doo hair style that he was rocking that we just looked at is like he was a brand new hair system wearer, and we all made the mistake. I definitely made that mistake. God knows when I started wearing a hair system, I would go as dense as I could because that you just want all the hair. You get hair greed. You want all the hair you can get. But this one seems like he's kind of a seasoned hair system hair wearer here. He's got some experience now to make it look a little bit more natural. It's still definitely, again, when you compare this to when he was thinning, the hair color doesn't match his natural hair back in the day. The way his hair was thinning back in the day, how you could see through his scalp even when his hair was starting to grow in some, the way his hairline was shaped, you can just tell this is still most likely a hair system. Again, I just don't think it's a hair transplant, A, because it looks too perfect. The hair is too voluminous, too luscious, too perfect looking, and too amazing looking, and you just don't get that kind of look with the hair transplant. And B, we would have seen some kind of scarring or something, some kind of filler over the years of him getting a hair transplant, and it would have been noticeable that something looked off. The fact that he went from thinning hair to amazing hair over the course of just 1 or 2 seasons really shows that, in my personal opinion, that he's wearing a hair system here. This is actually a good style. I like the style on him, but in my humble opinion, I mean, this is definitely a hair system. Now let's fast forward. This is just a year or two ago, this picture right here. This is when he was about 44, 45 years old in this picture. I still think this is a hair system because look at his hairline. A little bit lower than we've seen back when he was rocking his natural hairstyle. A little bit lower hairline. It still looks good. He still has his temporal points to support that low of a hairline. You could tell that he probably, he has a really good hairstylist that does hair systems for him. Probably guide him on what his hair should look like for his age. I think this just looks perfect, and you kind of see that slight, difference in color from the top of his hair to his sides. That's another kind of clear sign it's a hair system. But this is a really good looking hair system. It's not too dense, not too thin. It really suits his face. So I think this is kind of, he put it all together. He knows now, he got the experience enough over these years of what a hair system should look like to look the best, to look the most stylish and natural at the same time. And he probably got a better stylist or something that kind of guided him in that direction. So I think this looks good on him. I think he's really learned over the years how to kind of rock his hair. It's just, in my opinion, it's kind of clear as day that he wears a hair system. I just don't envision a scenario where it's hair transplant, seeing that we see him a year in and year out in a span of every 8 to 9 months when football season starts. There's been no visible indication whatsoever of scarring, balding spots where he got the transplant done. And the fact that he went from having kind of real thinning hair to amazing luscious hair in the span of the 8 to 9 months from season to season just leads me to believe that Tom Brady is actually a hair system wearer. And yeah, that's a great thing. I mean, he's like the greatest NFL quarterback of all time, one of the biggest role models. I mean, that'd be a great thing. I mean, imagine if he came out in public and said, yeah, I wear a hair system. That'd do wonders for the hair system community, in my opinion. I'm definitely not shaming him. I mean, what position am I in to shame him? I'm wearing a damn hair system. So there you go. Yeah, guys, that's kind of what I have for you today. And until my next video, take care.